Alex, is there something you'd like to say to the audience members?
I'm sorry.
Yes. We at Whatcha Gonna Queue want to apologize to you viewers before we get into this wonderful episode because one of the titles we're about to discuss, Tampopo, is actually not currently available on Netflix. But in the words of Meatloaf, 3 out of 4 ain't bad, or something like that. We still have the same great discussion, the same handsome co-hosts, so we hope that you enjoy the episode anyway. Sorry for the inconvenience, guys, and let's get on with the show. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Whatcha Gonna Queue, the 21st episode of Whatcha Gonna Queue. That's right, after this episode, we can all go out and get alcoholic beverages. Woo! For those of you who may be new to the show, Whatcha Gonna Queue is a weekly video series in which we highlight some of the best titles that Netflix has to offer, with recommendations broken down into 3 categories. Instant Karma, where we recommend some of the best instant titles to watch before they expire. What the F is This, where we highlight some of the obscure or overlooked titles buried in the annals of Netflix. And For Your Consideration, where the recommended titles tie into a timely, predetermined cinematic theme. But before we go out and celebrate a little bit too vigorously and forget who we are, I'm one of your co-hosts, Jim Roner.
And I'm your other co-host, Alex Rabinowitz.
And Alex, I had such a good time with last week's episode.
Me too.
I especially liked our recommendations in section 1 and 2 that turned out to be alien themed. And I liked them so much that I want to recommend another alien movie.
Okay.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a remake of Don Siegel's 1956 sci-fi classic that focuses on a group of friends in San Francisco who slowly but surely begin to realize that mankind is being replaced by emotionless clones. Starring Donald Sutherland, Brooke Adams, Jeff Goldblum, and Veronica Cartwright, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a skillfully crafted paranoid thriller indicative of the times during which it was made that is regularly cited as one of the best remakes in history.
How do you know my name? I didn't tell you my name.
Now, Alex, what I really love about Invasion of the Body Snatchers, first and foremost, is its pacing. How screenwriter W.D. Richter just spaced out these events of how there's this slow unraveling and gradual realization of this alien threat that's coming through, and then eventually through the halfway point, as mankind is being taken over, how the tension just really ramps up until there's just this great white knuckle kind of Act 3 where all the characters, because it's kind of them versus the world, it's just every single step they take, they have to be very cautious and very careful, and it's just, it's really tense. It's awesome.
Sounds exciting. But you didn't recommend this in our remakes show, and as we all know, remakes can be very touchy, so I'd like to know, how is it handled here?
Right. Why I think Invasion of the Body Snatchers works so well as a remake is that it's trying to be its own film. Don Siegel's 1956 original was very much kind of geared towards the problems of its time and geared towards a sci-fi slant as well. Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of has those sci-fi elements as sort of peripheral, kind of in the background, and also is geared more towards kind of the horror genre, I think, especially emphasized by the great cinematography of Michael Chapman, which is dark and gritty, not dark as in you really can't see, but dark as in it only accents and emphasizes what you need to see. Michael Chapman, for those of you who may not be familiar, also shot the great Taxi Driver and Raging Bull, among many other great films.
Right, with so many other great films that it stands up against, both in the people that worked on it and the time it came out. How does it transcend its genre and stack up against those?
I think despite, or maybe even because Invasion of the Body Snatchers is a genre film, it's really able to comment on the time in which it came out, just like a lot of the landmark 1970 films that came out around it. I think what it does really well is that it takes this overall theme of what was going on in the 70s, just this idea of social upheaval and distrust of authority figures, and a small group rebelling for what they know is right and what they know is true. And it takes that and really just uses that as a great kind of timepiece, not in the sense of that it's dated, but in the sense of here's what was going on at this time in the 1970s. So I think that's what makes it really great, is that it's not just a genre film, but it's also kind of a historical film in a way.
Interesting. But it's expiring.
It is expiring. Viewers have until June 1st to watch it on Instant, and I think they should do that.
Oh, yes. And we are very concerned here about expiration dates, as are the characters in the film I'll be recommending in section 2. A Japanese spaghetti western, literally about spaghetti, Tampopo is a wondrous journey through humanity's relationship with food. Directed by Yuzo Itami, the main storyline starred Tsutomu Yamazaki as a trucker who rolls into town to save widow Tampopo, as played by Nobuko Miyamoto, and her noodle restaurant. Comical side stories, all relating to food, are woven throughout. Jim, this might be my most obscure pick ever.
Not arguing with that.
No, it is a Japanese film from 1985. The only marginally recognizable star to American audiences is going to be Ken Watanabe. And had I not gone to film school and gotten a proper education in cinema, which surprisingly I did, I would have never been introduced to this movie, and yet I am so glad that I was.
Yeah, this reeks of a film school film that you would have not heard of or seen anywhere else. But it also sounds like one of those films that, because of how obscure and just how weird and fun it is, that once you see it, you won't ever forget it.
Yeah, it's very hard to forget, and it's just outrageous and crazy memorable, and it's a big broad comedy, which is wonderful, and it really takes on in hilarious fashion our taboos with food, and just like trying to put you in a situation for Japanese norms and American norms, and just learning about different culture and how everyone interacts with the digestible. And there's this awesome scene in it that's just hilarious and uncomfortable, where food is used in a particularly erotic way.
Right, well, I'm sure we can all relate to getting erotic with food at least once in our lives. I know a few people out there who they refuse to see anything foreign, you know, they can't relate to it, they don't want to read subtitles. So for those people out there who may be of that mindset, what does Tampopo offer to them that can kind of connect them to things they're familiar with?
Yeah, we've confronted these people before, and Tampopo, though it is very much Japanese, has a lot of American influence that, you know, me, you, and the common average Joe here in middle USA America can appreciate. For one, it does borrow a lot from the Western genre. Like I said, it's a spaghetti Western about spaghetti, which is just fantastic on a meta level. But it also has some tributes to American cinema and American culture. There's a direct tribute to Charlie Chaplin, and also the main character drives a Chevy Camaro.
Sounds like a film that Quentin Tarantino would be really into.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
All right. Well, since we're on the topics of Quentin Tarantino and film school, I think we need to ramp up the snootiness a bit with our recommendations in Section 3. Being film critics, to one degree or another, Alex and I are often asked, what's your favorite movie?
Jim, what's your favorite movie?
Partially because we're sick of being asked, and partially so that we can further pontificate on all things cinema as we adjust our monocles and swirl our brandy, we've decided to finally disseminate the information to you, our loyal viewers, as to what our favorite films actually are. Remember, I said favorite films, not necessarily what we think are the best films, but don't be surprised if they turn out to be two of the greatest films in cinema history. Martyrs begins 15 years after a French girl named Lucy has escaped a prolonged experience of being imprisoned and physically tortured on a daily basis. Bringing with her childhood friend Anna, Lucy sets out on a bloody quest of revenge to find the people responsible for her plight and make them pay. In the process, Anna finds herself caught up in the horrors that Lucy experienced as a child. Alex, have you seen The Exorcist?
Yes.
Psycho?
Yes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Yes.
Amateur Hour? Martyrs tops all those films in its sheer audacity, in its boldness and creativity of vision, in crafting a relatable and colorful film, and just takes everything that those films has done, just does it better.
Yeah, definitely. And it has such a unique intro as well.
The film has an intro that you can choose to watch with the writer-director Pascal Laugier, for lack of better pronunciation, in which he actually apologizes to viewers for what they're about to watch because he says it may be so offensive to them because of just how much blood and gore is in there. And now, I don't know about you, Alex, but any film that starts with an intro from the director in which he apologizes for his film being so kick-ass, that just signals all good things for me.
Yeah, it's like freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But I mean, something with so much awesome gore and crazy stuff, there has to be something deeper going on underneath, correct?
Alex, for all the awesome gore, there is even more awesome profundity for this film. What starts out as kind of a seemingly straightforward revenge flick transfers halfway through into just this something so much deeper, and just explores these ideas of human suffering and morality and mortality and why human beings have to suffer that is so much more profound than I think anything you'll find from Bergman or Stanley Kubrick out there. It's just a great film which has an ending that completely justifies everything that came before it. It's just a wonderful film that I think is probably one of the greatest films, horror films, in history, I should add.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I think that it goes so deep into just investigating human emotion and what makes the world turn.
Yeah.
Not unlike my pick, 5 lifelong friends, now grown up with children of their own, take a vacation together in tribute to their deceased junior varsity basketball coach. Grown Ups features the comic dream team of Adam Sandler, David Spade, Rob Schneider, Chris Rock, and Kevin James as Chris Farley.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Adam Sandler has done it again. He has assembled what is essentially our generation's Rat Pack. I mean, sure, you know, Deuce Bigelow, European Gigolo, and You Don't Mess with the Zohan are fine films on their own, but they only feature one of these guys. Imagine all 5 of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't even know if I can imagine. It's almost like, you know, Robert Altman is still alive and directing comedies today with, like, the ensemble cast he has. And when I saw the trailer for Grown Ups, I knew that I had seen something really special and really hilarious.
Absolutely. And you'll be delighted to find out that it was brilliantly written and completely snubbed for Best Original Screenplay. It's just every character has such specific motivation and characterization, each scene leading to the next with purpose and direction, and then it all comes together for this climax that in no way feels forged. It's just earned 100% master cinema work going on here.
48 months. That's 4. Yeah.
And the sign of a great film, a great comedy, is you just don't expect the jokes, the setups and the payoffs. And with Grown Ups, I mean, it always kept me surprised because of just the funny jokes. It seems like everybody involved in Grown Ups was standing on the shoulders of giants, taking everything that they've done before and just perfecting it.
Yeah, the comedy is, like you said, almost perfect. It's just written with such sardonic, eloquent wit, and in no way is it lowbrow or pandering. I couldn't have been more happy with this film. It was almost like it was written by Aaron Sorkin or a comparable talent. Just all the way, firing on all cylinders, unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I wish we could sit around and just talk about these films all day, but we can't because the show has come to an end. We want to thank you guys for watching, and if you ever want to reach out to us, remember we have a Facebook page, which you should become a fan of and post your pictures of your queue. You can visit our Twitter account if you want to just know what's going on at every minute of every day. You can go to our website where we have the latest news on what's going on in the world of Netflix, instant streaming, and just movie watching in general. Or you can check us out on iTunes and be sure to rank us so that we will get higher ratings on iTunes. So once again, guys, thanks for watching, and remember, until next time, if you believed any word we had to say about either of the titles and for your consideration, April Fools, we actually hate both of them.